It's Monday, January 8th, and this is The National.
Tonight, 2 communities, 2 homes burned down, 8 lives lost. What was behind 2 deadly fires in Ontario and Nova Scotia?
The debate over minimum wage ratchets up. A Tim Hortons supervisor speaking out, and Ontario vows to name and shame.
But we begin with the speech that's got people talking, Oprah 2020.
For too long, women have not been heard or believed if they dared to speak their truth to the power of those men. But their time is up. Their time is up.
Okay, her speech at the Golden Globes sure was powerful, but was it presidential? There are whispers today that Winfrey has the White House in her sights. After all, a business mogul and a TV host sitting in the Oval Office isn't quite so far-fetched anymore. Paul Hunter looks at whether an Oprah run could, in fact, become a reality.
By now, you may well be thinking, of course, in the U.S. today, it makes total sense.
So I want all the girls watching here and now to know that a new day is on the horizon.
A Golden Globes thank you speech that sounded, say many, downright presidential. Oprah Winfrey, name-checking civil rights leader Rosa Parks, applauding women and men who are
fighting hard to make sure that they become the leaders who take us to the time when nobody ever has to say, "Me too," again. Thank you.
The internet, as they say, exploded. In tweet after tweet, it's Oprah for president, Oprah 2020. Please do it, wrote Lady Gaga. She absolutely would, offered Winfrey's partner Stedman Graham. Said by some to be now actively considering it, Winfrey was asked, would she run in the weeks after Trump's 2016 victory? Her answer then, his win changed everything.
Oh, gee, I don't have the experience. I don't know enough. I don't know. And now I'm thinking, oh.
Okay. All right. Well, okay.
Indeed, it's no longer fantasy that a billionaire TV star with no political experience could win the White House. Something Trump himself seemed to recognize when he first considered a run for the presidency back in '99.
You have a vice presidential candidate in mind?
Well, I really haven't gotten quite there yet.
It's just
Oprah. I love Oprah. Oprah would always be my first choice.
But battling for public office can be brutal. Even today, the positive tweets, this one from Stephen Colbert, came with others less so, such as this from actor James Woods, Winfrey and Harvey Weinstein, #AllEars. So, will she do it? Will the woman who years ago asked would he ever run?
Would you ever?
Probably not.
Will she now run to replace him? Stay tuned. Paul Hunter, CBC News, Washington.
So if Oprah does decide to run, she's already got all the connections she needs to fund a campaign. Just take a look at who surrounded Oprah at the Globes last night. Big-name celebrities with ties to the Democratic Party. Seated at the same table as Oprah, singer-songwriter Barbra Streisand and her actor husband James Brolin, both longtime Democratic donors. Oprah's best friend and CBS host Gayle King reportedly gave more than $30,000 to the party and Obama's campaign before she started at the network. Denzel and Pauletta Washington contributed more than $100,000 over the past decade. And at the next table over there, director Steven Spielberg also donated to the party for years and gave $1 million to Hillary Clinton's 2016 campaign. Of course, the next U.S. presidential election is still nearly 3 years away, and while some A-listers muse about making a run for the White House, there is an even longer list of conventional politicians thinking of challenging Trump in 2020.
It is a terrible day for millions of working families in this country.
Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren has become one of the new faces of the Democratic Party. The liberal icon wrote a book and has already collected millions in donations, perhaps an early sign of a campaign to rival Trump.
Did you have any communication with any Russian businessmen?
California Senator Kamala Harris raised her profile in her face-off with Attorney General Jeff Sessions in the Russia hearings.
Time is wasting there.
Meanwhile, New Jersey Senator Cory Booker has been floated as a presidential candidate. He appeared on the campaign trail to boost Alabama's Doug Jones. And Kirsten Gillibrand has emerged as a leading advocate for sexual harassment victims.
It was a sexist smear attempting to silence my voice.
She fought publicly with Trump after calling on him to resign over allegations of sexual misconduct.
But I'm not saying I wouldn't run.
And former Vice President Joe Biden is sure looking a lot like a presidential candidate. The 75-year-old is planning on spending this year traveling to U.S. and reintroducing himself to Americans. Never say you won't run, because you never know. We'll likely get a better sense of the field after the midterms later this year, Andrew. Meanwhile, you're looking at two fires, thousands of kilometers apart, but both painfully similar.
Yeah, that's right, Rosie. As officials investigate a fire in Nova Scotia, which killed 4 children on Sunday. Today, another deadly fire, this time in Oshawa, Ontario.
Oh, it was horrific. You could see the flames behind them. You could hear them yelling, "Get out, get out." You know, the older gentleman was trying to battle the fire, but it was already out of control.
Children were among the victims in this fire, too. 2 children were killed, along with their mother and a 50-year-old man. Ali Chiasson has more.
You can tell by the blackened, blown-out windows that this fire was big.
It looked like an inferno.
It instantly took up that whole backside of the house.
Neighbors heard a bang, followed by a flash.
People were coming out in their bare feet. There was one poor lady, all she had was her underwear and a t-shirt.
Everyone came running out and flames everywhere.
Fire crews arrived quickly, but both levels plus the loft were engulfed.
Fire was around them at all times when they were fighting their way up. They had to retreat, and after retreating, they forced their way back in again a second time.
Of the 11 people who lived in the multi-unit home, a 50-year-old man named Stephen McDonald died, along with 36-year-old Lindsay Boncheck, her 9-year-old daughter Madeline, and 4-year-old son Jackson.
It's believed that Lindsay's son Ben was out here waiting for his school bus, like he does every morning, when the flames erupted at his home. When the school bus arrived, firefighters quickly turned it into a makeshift shelter for everyone that they were evacuating. Now it appears that his mother, his brother, and his sister never made it out alive.
Honestly, I look at it and I'm like, thank God I have 3 exits.
The Office of the Fire Marshal is investigating the cause and exactly where the fire originated, and whether there were working smoke alarms in the building, but also whether this was a legal rooming house that was up to code. With that, Oshawa's fire chief has a reminder for everyone listening.
No matter what dwelling you live in, if you have working smoke alarms, that's the key, and a fire escape plan to get out of your house in time.
This investigation is expected to last until the end of the week. Ali Chiasson, CBC News, Oshawa.
Investigators are also still searching for answers at a scene of a devastating house fire in Nova Scotia, which claimed the lives of 4 children. But they now say the fire does not appear to be suspicious. You can see right there, investigators pulling down the one remaining wall today for safety reasons and began combing through what's left of the home. The house was engulfed in flames early Sunday morning. 2 adults escaped, one of them injured. Authorities haven't officially released the identities of the young victims, but the tiny town is reeling.
We're a community of, with the surrounding community, about 2,000 people, and we are like one large family. So something like this I've never experienced in my lifetime, and it's just one whole family. So everyone is affected deeply.
The RCMP has now turned the case over to the provincial medical examiner, who will continue to investigate the cause of the fire. Meanwhile, Ian, in Ontario tonight, the debate over the minimum wage, it's got lots of people upset, and some businesses are pushing back.
And as you know, Andrew, this story continues to get so much reaction. Today, Ontario's Labour Minister said workers' complaints to the province have jumped by 30%.
We've also increased the penalties for employers who contravene the Employment Standards Act. And for the first time, the Minister of Labour now can, by law, publish the names of employers who break the rules. This is something we are very willing to do.
So the province says it aims to protect employees, but some aren't willing to wait for that. Stephanie Scanderas starts with a worker who's had enough.
I enjoyed my job. I planned on being a lifer.
After 9 years at Tim Hortons, this supervisor has given her notice. She says the changes brought in over the new minimum wage were just too much. They were announced in a letter posted on an office door.
Breaks would not be paid. It doesn't tell about hour cut, but you look at your schedule and you see the significant cut in your hours. I went from a 9-hour shift to being paid for a 7.5-hour shift.
How does that all add up for you?
I make about $62 less every 2 weeks.
It's the act of bullies that has no place in this province.
Today, Ontario's Minister of Labour expressed frustration with how some businesses have reacted.
They've gone overboard. They're complying with the act, but certainly not complying with the spirit of the act. In some cases, it appears they've gone to the point of doing things that are alleged to be illegal. We're investigating these charges.
Flynn says the province is hiring 175 employment standards officers to enforce the law, will inspect 1 in 10 Ontario workplaces on a proactive basis, and will publish the names of any businesses caught breaking the law. But this employment lawyer says the tough talk may not amount to much.
There's certainly no legal repercussion in terms of any business that decides to go against, quote unquote, the spirit of the legislation. And of course, that's a subjective term. What matters fundamentally from a legal perspective is the letter of the legislation.
Jason Beho says the government should have expected a business backlash.
It is an unfortunate consequence, but it's nonetheless a very predictable consequence.
Predictable, maybe, but that doesn't make it easier for the workers caught in the crosshairs.
Whether it's illegal or not, it's not right. I've given them 9 years, and that's what they give me back.
She thinks Tim Hortons employees should unionize so this can't happen again. Stephanie Scanderas, CBC News, Hamilton, Ontario.
Ontario isn't alone. Alberta is partway through its own minimum wage increase. Back in 2015, it was $10.20. That was the country's second lowest. The NDP government pledged to phase in increases over 3 years. That would take it to $15 by this coming October the 1st. We asked Terry Reith to look at the impact so far.
Medium market.
In Alberta, there are businesses that grumble.
It's just the constant increases in doing business, and the minimum wage is just a factor in that.
Just can I have a medium, please?
And some that don't mind paying a higher minimum wage.
Just say be happy and pay your employees good wages, and they'll be all happy workers.
Alberta's move to $15 an hour this October hasn't met anywhere near the resistance it has in Ontario. A big reason, so few workers earn minimum wage. Only about 212,000 people, 11% of the labor force, earn the current minimum of $13.60 an hour. Compare that to Ontario, where 1.2 million people, 20% of the workforce, earn under $14 an hour. One big reason for the difference is Alberta's resource economy, which tends to drive up wages.
Right now, Alberta has a labor shortage. And so it isn't the minimum wage that is in fact the problem right now. It's we can't get workers to work the lowest wage jobs in our economy. That's a problem for us.
Still, for small business owners, it isn't easy. Jill Johnson and her sister own restaurants in Calgary and Edmonton. The Edmonton location will close in March. The sisters are doing double duty at their remaining outlet.
Well, I'm the waitress today, and my sister's the waitress tomorrow, and we've just sometimes we close a little earlier, open a little later. We've made some adjustments.
But Z Zaidi sees a silver lining in paying his employees more.
I think as the more money come to the people's pocket, they're going to spend more money in my business, and everybody will be very happy.
Not everyone is happy. Critics still say that forced raises cost jobs. But overall, with recent news of 70,000 new jobs created in Alberta, the minimum wage debate isn't nearly as heated as it once was. Terry Reith, CBC News, Edmonton.
Well, Rosemary, let's move from a controversy that may, in Ontario at least, be growing to one that could be moving towards a resolution.
A bit of a one anyway, Ian. To say that Finance Minister Bill Morneau had a rough couple of months at the end of last year, an understatement. He was an opposition punching bag, and he took a relentless pounding over ethics and what the opposition called arrogance. But as David Cochrane reports today, Morneau got some redemption.
The opposition thought this was the smoking gun that would end Bill Morneau.
Why is he still in cabinet? Why doesn't he just do the right thing and resign?
How can he possibly be trusted with the budget of the Government of Canada?
He needs to resign.
The allegation was that Morneau and his father used inside information to dump shares in the family company right before the Liberals raised taxes on the rich.
Is it just a coincidence that both he and his father sold millions of dollars worth of shares a week before he introduced tax increases that helped drop the value of those shares?
Yes or no? I want to say that I have a level of disgust for what's going on the other side of this.
But the Ethics Commissioner has now ruled that the allegations didn't amount to anything close to scandalous, largely because the Liberals campaigned on the tax changes, told the country when they were coming.
The Prime Minister has made it clear to us that it is his hope and his intention that the tax measures could be in place for January 1st.
And then did exactly as they promised, meaning it was nowhere close to tightly held inside information.
I have full confidence in the Minister of Finance. And
the Prime Minister stood with Morneau throughout it all, but it came with some tough political lessons.
What we've seen over the last week is that I need to do more.
And some big financial costs. To help make the controversy go away, Morneau sold all of his shares in the family business and donated the $10 million in profit to charity.
David Cochrane joins me now with more. Okay, so is this the end of it? Smooth sailing right ahead for the finance minister, David, or not so much?
Well, no, not yet. I mean, the Conservatives, they're not letting this go. They've issued a statement tonight from Pierre Poilievre accusing Bill Morneau of hypocrisy and bad judgment, even though he's been cleared of ethical violations. And there is still one more big issue to be dealt with. The NDP has asked the Ethics Commissioner to look at Morneau's role in drafting pension reform legislation known as Bill C-27. And that's legislation that his critics say would allow his family company, Morneau Chappelle, to make a lot of money if it becomes law. So Mary Dawson, the Ethics Commissioner, is still looking into that. We're still waiting for the findings of that investigation. And Rosie, Morneau, as he had throughout all of this, is promising to cooperate fully with that one. So still not quite done yet.
Okay, so a glimmer of hope, but not the end of it. Thanks, David.
A better New Year than he had at the end of last year.
Quite right. Thanks, David. Appreciate it. Former Conservative Senator Lynn Bayak has fired back at Tory leader Andrew Scheer after he tossed her from caucus last week for apparently refusing to remove letters from her Senate website that expressed support for residential schools. She denies it, saying in a statement, contrary to his statement that he asked me to remove content and I refused, that statement is completely false. Isn't it interesting that old letters on the website for months without controversy are used to bait opposition leadership? A good leader would never have fallen for such a ploy. But when an inexperienced leader wins by a small margin, some wisdom and common sense are lost. Andrew Scheer has not responded beyond the statement that he released last week. And fellas, I have to say that now she's been cut loose, has her independence, probably not the last we'll hear from Senator Bayak.
Right, indeed. We'll keep an eye on that situation. Meantime, still ahead on The National, representatives from North and South Korea are meeting tonight for the first time in 2 years. Sasha Petrusik is in Seoul with more on what could come of the talks. Next.
Plus, what fire and fury have to do with a Toronto University professor whose 10-year-old book just hit the bestseller list.
And my conversation with Samantha Bee, late night's only female host, talks Trump, advice for young women, and of course, the hashtag #MeToo.
I don't know. I couldn't name a single woman who I've ever spoken to who hasn't encountered it in her life.
On The National tonight, The Weeknd says he's done with H&M. The Canadian music star announced that he's ending his relationship with the clothing company. after this advertisement got him and a lot of others upset. The ad featuring a black boy wearing a sweatshirt that says, "Coolest monkey in the jungle." It's been called everything from inappropriate to downright racist. H&M has pulled the image and apologized to anyone offended. Also tonight, U.S. media are reporting that the president, Donald Trump, could soon be interviewed as part of the investigation into Russian election meddling. According to a number of different outlets, Trump's lawyers are in talks with special counsel Robert Mueller and his team of investigators, and the interview could take place in a matter of weeks. And demonstrators gathered outside the White House protesting the Trump administration's decision to scrap temporary protected status for thousands of immigrants from El Salvador, many of whom have lived in the U.S. for decades.
Time to give Salvadoran and all TPS holders citizenship. Vamos a seguir luchando.
Salvadorans received protected status in 2001 after two devastating earthquakes left hundreds of thousands homeless. It had been extended several times before Trump pulled the plug today. Salvadorans now have until September 2019 to find a legal way to stay or else leave the country. Something else we're keeping a close eye on at this hour, a rare high-stakes meeting between North and South Korea. Right now, for the first time in more than 2 years, the two sides are gathered for high-level talks. And what you're looking at here are the latest images out of that meeting. It's taking place in the demilitarized zone. And here's a look at the border zone. Right now, it's just before 12:30 p.m. Tuesday, local time. Talks have been underway for more than 2 hours now. Officially on the agenda, whether North Korea will send athletes to the upcoming Olympic Games in South Korea. But there's potentially a lot more than that at stake. Asia correspondent Sasha Petrusik is in South Korea right now. So, Sasha, what are you watching for out of these talks?
Well, Andrew, as you mentioned, this is ostensibly about the Olympics, so the question of whether North Korea will participate is on everybody's mind, and it is considered significant, both symbolically and also because if they're participating, there's far less of a chance of missiles going off just north of the border here. But beyond that, there is a bigger question of whether they could move on from this and perhaps even start talking about reducing the North's nuclear arsenal. For that to happen, the Americans would have to be involved. And today they're not at the table. This is very much a first step.
Right. So then what is the mood actually like in South Korea right now? I mean, are people expecting meaningful progress?
Well, I don't know if they're expecting it. They're hoping for it. I've seen this country deeply split over the past year with a lot of people just not trusting the North. They think that South Korea is being played on this one and that the North has no intention of moving forward and cutting its nuclear arsenal or, in fact, doing anything toward peace. Others here would like to see cooperation instead of confrontation. They've been working toward that, and they hope that this is a first step. But frankly, I don't think anybody here is expecting a great deal. Expectations are quite low.
All right, well, lots to watch for tonight or midday for you. Sasha, thanks so much.
My pleasure.
Still ahead on The National, the disappearing neighborhood paper route. How a deal between two media conglomerates is taking money out of the pockets of youngsters and some adults as well.
Young people that do it, you know, some of them, that's how they pay for their school sports. It's a tournament they want to go to. You know, I've got seniors who, they barely get through the month, and that is that little extra money that they make that gets them through from one check to the next.
Plus, Canadian comedian Samantha Bee finds humor in the headlines, how her job has changed in the Trump era. That's next on The National.
You guys have been called sort of the resistance movement.
That's a pretty heavy yoke to wear around your neck when you're trying to make a show that's funny with already challenging material. I honestly feel that he's been such a disgrace to the office that I have no reticence whatsoever to speak truthfully about it. That's fine for me.
Samantha Bee is fueled by her outrage. And in this Trump era, she has found her foil. The Toronto-born comedian isn't afraid to take jabs at the president or speak out on issues like sexual harassment in the workplace. And it's paid off. Her show, Full Frontal, has become a go-to for late-night political satire. I recently caught up with Samantha Bee in her Manhattan office. Never heard of this person?
No.
Samantha Bee. So she's a Canadian, and she's a comedian, and she worked for The Daily Show with Jon Stewart.
Oh, I don't know this.
And she now has her own show called Full Frontal, and she's been really vocal about Trump and other things. But she's actually, I mean, she's a dual citizen now, but she's from Canada.
She cannot be deported.
Well, because she's an American citizen now too. So no, he can't get rid of her.
Welcome to Full Frontal. I am Samantha Bee. In case you didn't realize, it has been a huge week for women. Starting last week when America encountered this season's second giant vortex of destructive moisture named Harvey. So listen up, creeps of Hollywood. Women talk to each other, and we talk to journalists, and we talk to lawyers. It's 2017. We don't have to put up with this shit. We are coming for you.
Hello. We're gonna put you over here if that's okay. Mic you up and sit close. Okay, sit close.
Read the Canadian papers.
We're good? Okay. Hi.
Hi.
Thanks for making the time for us.
I'm so excited that you're here.
I'm so excited. I'm here too. I want to start with all this sexual misconduct stuff that's been out there.
Always start with the sexual misconduct.
You have to these days.
Yeah.
We were on our news call earlier this morning, and the assignment editor said, and on the sexual misconduct block today, I've got so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so, and every day there's another name.
Yeah.
And it does seem to
I feel like there's been names since we've been sitting here, probably.
Probably. I feel like it's sort of hit you in a different way, maybe. So tell me how that's motivating you.
It's something we think about as it evolves, just like anybody else. But I mean, obviously, we've done probably more on it than other shows have, because it is the world that we inhabit, and these stories are important to us.
It does seem like outrage is a big
it's
part of what fuels your comedy.
It's not really what people want anymore, for you to go up and do monologue jokes about celebrity antics.
Yeah.
I mean, there may be, there's probably a huge group of people who do want that, and they have that if that's what they want. That's not what I want, and that's not what I want to do. And that is what gives me strength, is that the people, people in my world aren't interested in kind of like fripperies. You want to care about the world.
Yeah. As a female comedian, growing up, did you ever encounter this inappropriate sexual behavior?
Oh my God, of course. But not really in the comedy world per se, more in the restaurant world.
Yeah. Well, we see that happening now,
I mean,
too, yeah.
and in the world in general, in the world at large, 100%, of course. I don't know. I couldn't name a single woman who I've ever spoken to who hasn't encountered it in her life.
Each community has to kick out their own creeps. That applies whether you're in politics, entertainment, or whatever the f you call Steven Seagal's profession. And it's hard.
So when you're out there slamming people, even some people that you know, I would imagine, other comedians, Louis C.K., what are you trying to tell the audience?
It's always more complicated if you admire a person greatly to speak about them. But if it's what's happening and if it's current and it makes sense to talk about, then we have an obligation to do that.
That sort of sounds like journalism in some ways.
Ooh, weird. No, I mean,
sorry.
Well, a lot of people here, are journalists or come from a journalism background, and I think that we're all here together because we are obsessed with the news and similarly obsessed with comedy. Our two worlds are converging nicely.
Now listen, as much as I might love poking fun at the media, and as much as you all kind of deserve it sometimes, I know your job has never been harder. POTUS has convinced 88% of his fans that you're an enemy of the people. You basically get paid to stand in a cage while a geriatric orangutan and his pet mob scream at you. It's like a reverse zoo. But you carry on. You dig up misdeeds and fraud by the powerful, you expose injustice against the weak, and you continue to fact-check the president as if he might someday get embarrassed.
How do you think your job has changed since Donald Trump?
I don't think that my job has changed. I think that we would be doing the same basic job if Hillary Clinton was president, because I don't actually think that she is the Messiah. Like, she would have been an imperfect leader as well, in a different way. Certainly, I think the world would be a much more stable place. So perhaps there would be weeks where we would think, my goodness, what stories could we possibly tell this week? Nothing much is happening. Oh, look at her boring, stable leadership. Where's the comedy? It would be nice to struggle for a story to tell for once, but that's not the, anyway, that's the world we wanted.
I think you guys have been called sort of the resistance movement in the U.S. Do you think that is, it's probably not something you would consciously do, but do you think it's become that?
Well, it's not something that I would, like, if people in the world want to say that, that's fine. I wouldn't say that about us or myself. I feel like that's a pretty heavy yoke to wear around your neck when you're trying to make a show that's funny with already challenging material.
But when you see
it may or may not be true.
Yeah.
I think honestly we're not so self-conscious about it. We're just trying to respond authentically to the things that are really bothering us.
This is what happened 6 minutes in.
He referred to my hands. If they're small, something else must be small. I guarantee you there's no problem. I guarantee it.
Sorry. I'm so sorry. Let me just wipe the vomit off the camera. Oh my God.
Do you ever grapple with sort of the office? You know, because I would imagine you still want to respect the Oval Office, democracy, all those things, and I wonder if sometimes you say, I shouldn't say that about this guy. He did get duly elected.
Well, I used to feel that way, but I actually think that the Oval Office needs to work a little harder for my respect, actually. I don't automatically give it over anymore. I honestly feel that he's been such a disgrace to the office that I have no reticence whatsoever to speak truthfully about it. That's fine for me. I mean, the last time I checked, we had free speech here, so we'll see how that pans out. But as long as we have it, I'm going to feel very free to say the things that I want to say.
I'm going to play this video for you if I can, because we went to Yuck Yucks in Toronto.
Oh.
And there were a couple young comedians, and they had a question, sort of a similar question for you.
Oh, for me?
Yeah,
for you. That's so neat.
And
oh my God.
So I'll play a little bit.
Okay.
Next up is the beautiful and funny Hannah Lawrence.
My material does tend to be on the darker side, for sure, I'd say. Definitely dirtier, too. And I feel like as a woman, too, trying to talk like that, it comes off very brash sometimes. I call my tits mom and dad because they keep growing farther and farther apart. And I've just already had so many instances of like sexism. There was one instance in particular that I was followed into a bathroom, and he cornered me in a bathroom stall, and it was just terrifying. Like, it really makes you, I don't know, for me it makes me doubt myself a lot of the times. It makes me rethink a lot, like, why am I doing this?
Oh my God.
Is it always going to be this bad, kind of thing?
Your next comedian is, I love her so much, one of my really good friends, guys, Julianne Rodriguez.
A lot of my comedy is based on personal experience, specifically some women's issues.
But no 20-something guy has ever gone to a nightclub hoping to find the stand-up comedian, right? When has that ever been a thing? What guy walks in there and is like, you know what? Forget about the girls dancing on tables. Where's a girl that's so sarcastic, I can't tell if she's angry?
Hi, Samantha Bee. My question for you would be, how do you stay true to your voice in a world that's always trying to get you to change? I know personally I've had bookers and club owners try to get me to change my style to fit their clubs. Have you ever changed your voice to accommodate someone else, or have you always remained true to yourself? And also, how do you remain true to yourself in Yeah. Such a demanding world. Can I just say thank you for being so cool and such a great role model for everyone? I think that's all I would say.
Can you send me this video?
Yes, of course.
It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
What would you say to those gals? I mean, because that must bring back so many memories for you too.
Totally. Well, you know, like when you're a performer, you go off and you audition for things, and you end up kind of doing all of these pleasing things, and people want you to wear like a blue top because it makes your eyes sparkle, and you have to kind of do those things for money. But when you're doing the thing that is your own thing, that is your art, you cannot give a single shit what anybody else says about your voice. You just can't, because the one thing that they cannot take away from you is your talent. That's your thing. It's the thing that you do, and no one is allowed to alter that. That's the thing you do for free. That's the thing you stand on a dirty stage to do. That's the thing that is yours, and you have to like nurture that against all odds. It's really hard to do. For sure, it's really hard to do, but you have to be protective of that little thing. I think those girls are so great. That's awesome.
Well, they think you're awesome too.
The feeling is very mutual.
Good. I'll leave it there. Thank you. Thank
Such
you
a
very much.
pleasure.
A pleasure. Thank you for sharing all that with us.
Thank you so much.
Talk to every woman you work with like she has the New York Times on speed dial. Well, I guess it took the Times a little while to take care of business. Okay, talk to every woman like she has me on speed dial. My show is only once a week. I've got some free time.
Samantha Bee is one of several late-night hosts right now campaigning for the president's so-called fake news awards. Donald Trump tweeted last week he would be announcing the most dishonest and corrupt media awards of the year at 5 o'clock today.
I can't take my eyes off any part of your presidency. It's like watching a snake swallow democracy.
Late Show host Stephen Colbert seized on it to poke fun at Trump, launching a campaign on social media in the middle of Times Square with a billboard for your consideration ads.
Because nothing gives you more credibility than Donald Trump calling you a liar. And I, of course, don't want to get snubbed.
Trevor Noah made his case in a full-page ad in the New York Times. Jimmy Kimmel worked it into his monologue.
The Stupid People's Choice Awards are what they're calling it.
Trump's so-called award ceremony is now delayed until next week, with the president tweeting, "The interest in and importance of these awards is far greater than anyone could have anticipated."
Let's focus on another world leader now. And you know, there are times when every politician avoids answering questions. Some elevate dodging journalists to an art form. But Thailand's prime minister took it to a whole new level today. There he is, bringing out a life-sized cardboard cutout of himself, telling reporters to quiz it instead of him. You know, there used to be a time when we'd see footage like that from faraway places and say, that could never happen in North America.
I'm reading that Donald Trump book right now, so I don't say that anymore.
Yeah, no kidding.
Well, you know, and it's interesting. I was looking at the World Press Freedom Index, and this is a serious issue, too, right? I mean, Thailand ranks 142, which puts it right around Pakistan and Russia. So a serious side to, you know, what on the surface looks like a lighthearted issue.
For sure. More to come after the break.
$25 is not a lot, and like, you know, it's the right thing to do, but it's not like exactly like, you know, you're not getting back all that money you paid in those years.
If it's an easy process, sure, I'd go for it, because $25 for groceries is not bad, but I haven't taken the time to fill up that application.
I'm hesitant to fill it out because I just would like to see what the general consensus is from experts. Seems too good to be true.
If you bought bread at any Loblaw store between 2002 and 2015, you're probably eligible to sign up for the company's new compensation program. Loblaw is offering $25 gift cards to customers after admitting its role in a bread price-fixing scheme. The Competition Bureau is also investigating 7 other companies. A slight catch: if you take the gift card, you can still join the class action lawsuit, but that $25 might be deducted off your potential settlement. Still, there is a growing social media campaign urging Canadians to accept the payment and donate it to local charities or food banks. Well, for generations, the neighborhood paper route was a classic first job for a lot of kids. But with the future of print media uncertain, those opportunities are disappearing. Well, that is a sound that won't be heard in many communities. Post Media and Torstar's recent cost-cutting deal led to the shutdown of dozens of community newspapers. The CBC's Judy Trin was with the 12-year-old as he worked his paper route for the last time.
It's my first job, and in general, I think it's just been fun.
Sebastian Tubb, pulling a green wagon full of newspapers, has been a regular sight in his neighborhood. Each Thursday, the grade 7 student delivers 200 editions of the Ottawa West Community News door to door.
Well, when I get home, I usually just go into the garage, just slam everything in my wagon and just drag it around.
His route takes him 2 hours and pays Sebastian $11 a week, money he used to buy a second-hand Apple computer. But the paychecks stop in 3 days.
The big companies are trying to get rid of all the smaller companies. It's not that surprising. So
37 Canadian community newspapers, most of them in Ontario, have recently folded following a cost-cutting deal made by Torstar and Post Media. Here in Ottawa, about 1,000 paper carriers have been thrown out of work. Most of them are under the age of 16, but not all.
The young people that do it, some of them, that's how they pay for their school sports. It's a tournament they want to go to. I've got seniors who, they barely get through the month, and that is that little extra money that they make that gets them through from one check to the next.
A piece of history is disappearing too. Paper boys have been around since the 1850s, and delivering the paper was a first job for countless Canadians, including Sebastian's dad. Neil Tubb is disappointed that his son lost his job, and it's not about the money.
I think it taught him self-discipline because he comes home and no matter what the weather on those days, he's really got to get it done. We're not going to do it for him.
As for the future, Sebastian is already looking for his next job, wondering who wants to hire a 12-year-old. Judy Trin, CBC News, Ottawa.
Well, still ahead, a Canadian professor whose book about the Second World War is inching his way up the bestseller list because of an accidental connection to Donald Trump.
When I got up this morning and opened my emails, I had requests from Korea, from Denmark, from Berlin, from Dusseldorf. Newsweek has been in touch, and papers across Toronto. So I didn't see this coming.
On the National tonight, some dramatic video out of London, England. That's a paint factory in the northern part of the city. Now, it doesn't look like anyone was hurt. Everybody inside apparently made it out in time. And while firefighters have since gotten the situation under control, the cause is still an open question. And Princess Charlotte started nursery school today. And as you can see in these photos taken by her mother, Kate, she seemed pretty happy about it. The 2-year-old is attending Wilcox Nursery in London. A surprise shakeup in the world of Canadian soccer. The coach of the national women's team has left in order to run the men's team. John Herdman has widely been credited with transforming the women's team, leading them to win back-to-back Olympic bronze medals. And online tonight, players on the Canadian women's team did not hide their shock at the news. Christine Sinclair wrote, "Speechless right now." From Karina LeBlanc, processing this right now. Their teammate Diana Matheson tweeted, "Just sad about this one, wishing John nothing but the best in his next challenge, but still just sad." So we've been talking a lot about a book called Fire and Fury. The expose detailing Donald Trump's rise to power exploded to the top of the bestseller list after Trump himself denounced the book. And just to be clear, I'm talking about the book written by New York-based journalist Michael Wolff, because you are about to meet University of Toronto prof. Randall Hansen, the author of a different Fire and Fury. His story is our moment of the day.
So I've had a couple of angry tweets from Trump supporters to the effect that they bought the wrong book. The book came out on Friday, of course, and I was in D.C. at the time, and the whole city was exploding with discussion, and I heard Fire and Fury left, right, and center, and I would sort of perk up and then gradually got used to this and realized this had nothing to do with me. And I mentioned it to a couple of friends that this had happened, and we had a chuckle, and I thought very little of it. But then went out for dinner, had a couple glasses of wine, and then I was back at the hotel and decided to check my Amazon, check out Amazon's website, and I saw that the sales of my book, which had been languishing, the book was out 10 years ago, so sales were very, very low, they had suddenly taken off, and it was in 3 bestseller lists on Amazon. It's ironic that I'm a great critic of Donald Trump, should benefit from this.
And have you bought the other Fire and Fury?
I've ordered it, but it hasn't arrived yet.
And so, guys, I've researched this, and Fire and Fury, the Allied bombing of Germany, is all about the Second World War and has nothing to do with Donald Trump.
But you wonder what's going to happen or what might happen when people feel they have the wrong book and return it, and whether it'll work its way down the bestseller chart.
I've actually interviewed Randall before for very cerebral things, and I'm guessing it's a very serious book, not about a guy who is eating cheeseburgers in his bathrobe. That's my guess.
And I guess now, you know, I'll have to decide after I read the more recent Fire and Fury, whether I'm going to read the prequel. Can we call it that?
Let's.
Okay, well, that does it for us. Thanks so much for watching. That's The National for January 8th. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.